Denise, the host of the Nitty Grit, and I was talking about how you do not have to be a celebrity to make a difference, to make some change in this world. You can be just who you are. I am so excited that I get my free session right about now. What tools would you have to offer for someone who is dealing with emotional health?
Thank you for that, Judy. Oh my gosh, that really hits my heart.
Mental health is kind of like, don't touch that. It's like taboo.
And then all of a sudden, the person said, no, it's Spa Tracy. And I'm like, oh, they're talking about me.
You ladies are bringing it. I like it.
We're going to celebrate. We're going to talk about the things that we're doing and the things that we're going to continue to do to inspire this world. So have a great night, y'all. Thank you for watching. Make it a good day because you can. See you guys soon.
Okay, so technical difficulties to start out the show. Okay, I know you guys couldn't hear me, but I'm going to repeat that. How y'all doing on this Friday evening? How are you? Welcome to the Nitty Grit, y'all. Thank you for watching, and also my new peeps out there on YouTube. Oh my gosh. This is our first time on YouTube tonight. I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous too because it's our first time, but it's going to be a great time, y'all. I am very excited to speak with my guest that I have coming on. She is an author. She is a mother. She's a wife. She is wonderful, and she happens to be my cousin. Yay! Now, that's exciting when you get a chance to interview family in a good way. So this is so cool. I'm really excited. I'm going to bring her on for you guys. Please welcome Taiwan Henderson.
Hi. Hi. You look beautiful too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Are you ready? You excited?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad we could have this conversation. I'm really excited for you and with your new book, and I can't wait for people to hear about it. So I'm going to just let you jump on in. Tell the people who you are and a little bit about you.
Okay, my name is Taiwan Henderson. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a Christian woman that's married with 3 kids, 6 grandkids, a business owner, and now an author.
Woo! Come on. I'm really thrilled because just that you named off all of that and the fact that you have, a few kids, you have a little tribe there going on. And so, sometimes with all the things we have, it's very hard to kind of go and do some of the stuff we want to do or the dreams that we have for ourselves outside of our family, our husbands, our children. And so you've written a book, I'm just like, let's dig into this right now.
Okay, let's go.
Really great. For those of you who are new to this channel, I am Chantel Denise. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but that's who I am. And I just love celebrating people and bringing people on and having good conversations. So cousin Taiwan, I want to talk to you about, I'm sure our audience is just very interested in the title of your book. The title of your book is very fascinating, which I think, and I'm really excited for you to kind of explore a little bit for us and tell us why you came up with that title. How did you arrive at that? Tell us a little bit about your journey with writing this book. Can you tell us something, anybody who inspired you? What was your purpose behind it, your process, all that good stuff? Just tell us. I'm ready.
Okay, so I got the name in the writing process. I asked God, I talked to God and I was like, God, what should the title be? And he gave me a testimony of faith and it just stuck. And so one day I was at home watching church broadcast and I felt like God was talking to me. So I'm all excited, ready to tell a few people like God talk to me. So I'm telling them and they like, yeah, okay. And so I was like, okay. So I showed them the broadcast, and they were like, oh, okay, well, go for it. So I wrote like 2 chapters, but then I went into other business ventures and really put my time into that. But I kept feeling this nagging feeling inside of me that I needed to complete the book. So I prayed, and I got my laptop back out, and I just talked to God. I asked God to be with me on this journey because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to mess it up, and I knew that if he was with me on this journey, I would be on the right path. So I made sure when I sat down to write that I always talked to him first before I typed any word. And so I finished it. I went back and I read it, and I added things that I remembered, critiquing it, basically writing the book over. And so once that was done, I sent it to TBN. Me, TBN had a good relationship. It started off good, but we end up ending the contract because of differences. So then I got with Arthur House, and we ended the contract. But with this company, I lost money, so I kind of backed up a little bit, fearful, but I kept having this nagging feeling. It was like a year or so later in me that was like, you need to get this book out. So I talked to God again, I prayed, and so I did more research. And then once I did more research, I went and had my book copyright, so nobody can steal my idea or my book. And so the company that I'm with now, Writers Public, they reached out to me. And so we talked, and then I explained to them what was the goals for my book. And I told them that I wasn't going to take anything out. I wasn't going to change it because those were some of the differences that I had with the other publishing company. I didn't want to change the stories around. So I explained that to them, and we came to agreement, and a testimony of faith was born.
Nice. Oh my gosh, I love your process. How it's very interesting. You mentioned I listened to God, I heard God. Just touch base on that a little bit so people can understand, because some people are like, did she hear from him out of the clouds? They're like,
I get it.
I don't know about that one, but yeah. So tell me.
Okay, so I was watching, a church broadcast, and he was talking about going after your dreams, and he even went so into detail about if you out to write a book, go for it. And so I'm like, And so he was just going on into detail that God gave you this promise, don't sit on it. I mean, just talking so boldly. It was like God was speaking through this man. Like, how this man be talking about a book and knowing at this point in time. So I was just like, So I was so excited because I was like, there's no way that this can't be God talking to me. Why all of a sudden this come to me out of the clear blue sky? So, I'm excited. I'm like, God, talk to me. God, talk to me. But when I'm telling people, they looking at me like, girl, you so okay. I believe you. You know what I'm saying? They kind of giving me the side eye. So I'm like,
I don't know.
Yeah. So
Willis.
Yeah, all that, cousin. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, did God hear from me? So, I was like, no, it had to be God. So, like I said, I started to write, and I kind of backed off. And because I was like, well, maybe God, I started to second guess myself, honestly. I was like, well, maybe God didn't tell me to write it. Maybe he wanted me to do this business. So I just started doing other businesses, and then I got so wrapped up into that I basically put the book to the side. But it was like this nagging feeling in me that would not leave. And I was just like, okay, well, God is talking to me. And I prayed, and it was like he gave me confirmation. And when I started to write, I'm telling you, I talked to God every time I sat down to write, and it just flowed so naturally. Like, it was just like, I've never written a book in my life. I didn't even know what I was doing. And it was just like God was just guiding me. Put this, write this. And it just flows so naturally. So I knew that I wasn't tripping. It was God, because it was so naturally. I mean, it wasn't hard for me. The only part where it got hard is when it got to the deep stuff. I had to sometimes I had one part it got so deep that I had to literally pull back for a little bit for a few months, because it was like, whoa, I had suppressed it so long that it had came back up. So I had to bag back for a while. But God was like, that's long enough. Come on, get back in here. So so I had to get back in there, and complete the mission, and I completed it.
Nice. Oh my gosh, you're speaking some good stuff right there. I think for our audience, one of the things that I want to highlight is that you really were listening. You were listening for God's messages. And I love how you explain, like, God was speaking through people. God knew that you had this book on your heart. And so he was lining people up to remind you to do that book. And I love that you just listened. And the other thing I wanted to point out, the fact that you had a vision for your book and you were not going to let someone change that vision for you. And so I love how you stayed completely in alignment with that. And I think sometimes with people, because you're a new author, right? It's so easy for us to like get so excited. Oh, this publishing company is interested in my book. And we almost sell the idea and the dream that God put on our heart just to get published through these people that have a name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I love how you did not allow that to be your deciding factor. You went with what God had given you and what he made clear to you.
And they put some pressure on me. Do you hear me? Like like those companies, I was battling with them till I got so fed up, and I was just like, you know what? Let's just end it, because I'm not changing it. You're not going to change my mind. I'm not, because to me, if I would have changed the story, then that wasn't a testimony of faith. That was a lie, because that was not what really happened. So why would I ask God for guidance and then turn around and let somebody pressure me to turn it into a lie to please man and not doing what God has sent me out to do?
You better go.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's a beautiful thing when we do listen to God, because he really knows what's best, and he really has our best in mind, and the journey that we're on. It's really like so better for us than anything we can decide for ourselves.
Yes.
Really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much for that. Did anyone inspire you with writing this book too? Like, I know it's mainly, a lot of it is about your story, and you have elements of different people that have walked life with you, even your family. Was there any other inspiration that you could tell us about?
Well, to be honest, I could say my family gave me a lot of content. I would have to say my family, they inspired me, and, my loved ones, because it was times that I wanted to quit because it got so overwhelming. Yeah. Because like I said, they put so much pressure on me, and I wanted this book out so bad. Like, I think that's why God let me go through that, to understand that stick to what I told you to do, no matter what comes against you, I got you. And I was thinking, like, just imagine if I would have went and changed my story. I might would have did what they want me to do, but it wouldn't have did what God said it had to do. So I was trying to please God, not man. And I stuck to my guns. And like I said, I lost some money in some of them, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But in the end, I'm very well happy with the choices that I made, because I felt like this is where I was supposed to be from the start. But when you having those doors closed in your face, and and it's like it's not working for you, you get discouraged. I got discouraged a lot, and I cried a few times. I felt defeated, but it was like God was like that, like, no, you're not giving up. No, we're gonna finish this. You have this purpose, you're not stopping. So, like I said, it was a few times I backed up, but God was like, come on, girl, get back in here. We ain't finished. And I didn't stop till I was, finished. Till the mission was completed. I didn't stop, no matter the circumstance. And a testimony of faith is out now. So, hey, God knew what he was doing. All I had to do was listen and follow directions.
Listen and follow. That is those two words, listen and follow. They're words that we just need to all keep inside of us.
That part.
And following, and those are lifelong words, lifelong words for us. And so I appreciate you. I respect that, and I thank you for being an example of just listening and following through, because this message needs to be out.
I felt that so much. I did. I felt like seriously, when God put this on my heart, I was very skeptical, because I'm a very private person. So I'm like, Lord, you want me to put what? That too? What, that too? Because I was so worried of what people would think of me or what they would have to say. But
Mm.
God put a coat of armor over me to let me know it don't matter what they say, it's what I think and what I say, because I get the last say. And you trying to please me, not man. You know, so I was like, okay, Lord, let me go and write this and put it in there, because I didn't. I would have took some of that stuff to my grave. You know what I'm saying? But you know, God was like, no, you put that in there. So He made me very transparent, more transparent than I've ever been in my life, and that was hard, but I did it.
Do you feel like it was therapeutic in some ways too? Like it actually helped your story out?
Very. Do you know, when I was writing this book, I didn't realize all the things that I've been through. It was like I suppressed a lot of things so much in my life, because we're taught in our culture, when something happened to you, keep going. You don't quit. You don't fall back. You don't be weak. You keep going. So to me, when the obstacles was coming, I just took it on the chin and kept pushing and suppressed it. And I didn't realize that that wasn't healthy. I wasn't, healing. I was just suppressing it. And if you know about a wound, if you put a Band-Aid over it and it's not healed, you take the Band-Aid off and it's not healed, it's going to bleed. Okay, all I kept doing was putting Band-Aids, 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 and then something happened and to rip that Band-Aid off, rip that Band-Aid. So I have all these wounds that I was just patching with a Band-Aid and they wasn't healing. So, as you know, pressure bust pipes. And so, shoot, when I would get angry, I would explode, not realizing that it was all those things accumulated to one. It wasn't really what I was mad at, but I had suppressed so much emotion till I didn't know how to control them. And it came out in anger and violence and all that. I was off the chain. I come a long way. If you read the book, you're going to be like, whoa.
I finally have my Kindle copy, so I'm going to dig in it. But, I skimmed through it a little bit. But I'm so happy and excited for you. And I love what you shared now. Oh, my God. Yes, I'm so excited for you. You had shared, and I know you because back in the day, woo! When I was in Texas, and you still got that energy in you. We both do.
Yeah, Henderson thing, girl.
But you mentioned like the Band-Aid situation. I love that analogy. And what really rang to my ears and my heart was when you said the pressure and the pipes will blow. Yeah. And that that's some deep stuff right there. That we people, we have to, you were aware, you got in touch with, hey, something's going on here. I'm reacting to everybody around me, so that kind of leads me to what I want to ask you on the second question was, when you think about like different things that, that cause you to react or have a challenge where you feel like you're exploding, and that book was kind of writing for you as a little bit of therapeutic, what would you say, knowing that you know yourself very well, what was the hardest part of writing this book? And maybe if you don't want to go into full details, but I would love to hear some of your experience of what was hard for you, because I think it would be helpful for people to know that it's not easy writing a book, especially when it's about your life. It's okay. And I love how you say, I was worried about what people might think, what they're going to think of me, all that stuff. Tell us, what was actually hard for you?
Okay, so I would have to say what was hard for me was the molestation, the domestic violence, and the abortion. Okay, so the molestation, it was hard for me because I was young. I knew it was wrong, and I didn't understand why they were doing it to me. I didn't understand why they were doing that to me. So I suppressed that. And with the domestic violence, that was rough. I witnessed it and I lived it. And it made me become a very aggressive, very violent person towards anyone that I felt was a threat towards me or my family. And with the abortion, that was pretty deep. that took me to a real dark place. I became angry and like a little Tasmanian devil. And
Mm,
I knew God wasn't happy with me in that area of my life, but I learned in the process that He was holding my hand the whole entire time, never leaving me or forsaking me. So I was able to push through because I know that out of all those trials and tribulations, if it had not been for God, I would be crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, probably strung out on drugs. I mean, who knows? But God kept me through all that because, like I said, He never left me. You know, even though I felt like I was by myself, God made me realize you were never alone. You know,
mm,
I was always there. And it took me going through a lot to open my eyes to see that God was right there the whole time.
mm. Thank you for that. Wow, that's, I mean, you're sharing the tender parts of your heart, and I really, really appreciate that. I think, so often we have these experiences in our lives, and nobody knows about them but us. Like, I appreciate you mentioning suppress, because I think that
Mhm.
a lot of women, and men too, but a
Yeah.
lot of women go through a lot of things in life, a lot of wounds, a lot of heavy hits,
Yes.
you know, like you said, in our culture, we're used to like pick up and keep moving. You can't do
Keep Yep. Keep it moving.
that's in the past. That's in the past. We got to keep moving here. I always say, I was telling a friend of mine that I grew up, and it's for me, and this is not something I was told, but I just trained myself to go, you don't cry over spilled milk. You just clean it up.
Yep.
Going to the band-aid effect that you're talking about, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so I can definitely relate to you, and I appreciate you just, letting the audience know a piece of your heart and the way in your
Mhm.
life experience. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. I applaud you for that, because that's not easy. It's not easy to put yourself out there and say, this is me, this is who I am. One
Yeah.
thing for our audience too, I know some of you out there are watching. I know some of you have had experiences, and this is a good time for you to really hear Taiwan's story, because our experience in life, we can decide if we're going to hold on to them and let them shape who we are going to become.
Mhm.
Decide to look at how Taiwan said God was holding my hand every step of the way. And
Yes,
that's
it
not like
was.
God was sitting there going, oh, approving of what we've done, but He
No.
was walking with us because He still cares, still loves us. We are still His daughter, all of that. And so I just appreciate you mentioning that, because I think we also think God just turns His back on us.
Yes, let me tell you, because when I was out there being a Tasmanian devil, I moved away from God. He didn't move for me, but I moved away from God because I was shameful. Because I was like, man, I'm out here wilding. I know God looking at me like, really? So, I was shameful, so I stopped praying at night. I would just go to bed from the club, just
Yeah.
not thinking about God in that moment. And then one day He touched me, and and through all the circumstances I went through, He was there, and that's when I realized, like, okay, even if I do go to club, I still need to pray. You
Mm,
know,
mm.
even though I'm sinning, I still need to pray. Don't forget about God. How am I gonna forget about God and He waking me up every morning? How am I gonna forget about God and He keeping me safe? So I
Mm.
came to that conclusion, like no matter what I'm out here doing and what, and then I would have to say my mom started having Bible study, and she started having us youngsters come, and so we would come. Some of us was intoxicated, girl. We were sitting there, but mama, yeah, mom knew, but she was like, y'all better still come. And while we were all sitting, there be a whole house full of kids, and she was just like, she was preaching to us, and it stuck from that point on. It was like that's what brought us back to God. You know what I'm saying? Because mom was teaching us, and she could tell when some of us was loaded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
but she still talked to us. And she was just telling us about God, and a lot of us changed because of that. We was
Mm.
after we leave out of there, we be like, man, mama, wow, but yeah, that was real though. I understand what she's saying. So it was penetrating us, whether we know it or not. And from that point on, that's when God really started coming in and cleaning up my life.
Wow. Woo,
Hmm.
girl. This here So this is a testimony just right here. I know the book is going to be even more juicy. Way to go, Auntie. You know,
it's definitely a page turner.
Taiwan's mom is my aunt, you guys. So just so y'all know that. Way to go, Auntie. You know, I think that we all kind of grew up with somebody, whether it's our moms, big
mama, yeah,
dropping the scriptures, dropping them down to us, feeding our souls, you know, because they knew we were going to need it. They knew we needed it. But, you know, I really love what you're sharing because I think there's so much misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and some judgment of people who, how you say, hey, I was intoxicated, right?
Yeah.
But I was sitting there and I was still listening and I was being penetrated. And I want to tell you, all my people out there who are you God followers, Jesus followers, don't forget that people will still get the message. We just have to keep sharing it, like Auntie did with you, is that even though what it looks like to us, because I think sometimes, I mean, I know I've been guilty in the past as Christians, we spend too much time judging that we forget where we came from, number one.
Okay.
We come to Jesus all cleaned up, boo. You didn't come up. You know, a few people out there I can say, oh, she was probably a goody two shoes. But even in that, there's other stuff you might can find, because none of us come completely clean
at all. At all.
Otherwise, we wouldn't need to be saved. We wouldn't need any cleaning. So
that part.
Reminding us of that. Thank you, girl. That's woo. This is good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you. So I wanted to just, you know, I'm going to segue a little bit. If you could tell us, like, what was your favorite chapter to write? What was your favorite chapter to write? And tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, my favorite chapter to write would be when my family finally came together and everything started to flow like I wanted to flow. I had been praying for my kids to get on the right track. They were running me up the wall. You know, teenagers get, woo, to all the mothers with teenagers, I feel your pain. But, you know, so when they got back on track and my marriage was going great, my business was going great, that was the best time, because through all those trials and tribulations, I get a happy ending. So that's the best part, you know, having the happy ending through all of that mess and turmoil to end up where I'm at today. Because where I'm at today is very much growth, you know, and that's what I wanted to accomplish, because my main reason of living is I want to be able to, you know, get into heaven. Let's just be clear. I don't want to burn in hell, you know, so I really wanted to change my life and get in order with the Lord. So when he do come, I don't be going to hell. So I know I had to work on my temper, because my temper was out of control. My attitude, you know, and I just had to really buckle down on that, because I knew that's not how God wanted me to portray, you know, his kingdom. And so I had to really work on me. And I feel like when God saw me really trying to work on me, I even used to woosah. Do you hear me? Like woosah. Okay. I was really trying to do everything that I possibly could at that moment, because I was trying to grow. And I feel like once God seen me really, really trying, he came in and I saw myself starting to change, and I saw people starting to recognize my changed behavior, because at one point they used to be like, girl, you off the chain. Yeah. So, you know, to hear people saying like, wow, I see your temper has changed. I see you at that motivated me even more to change, because I'm like, okay, so it's working. And I just kept on working on myself, and I haven't stopped. I'm not stopped working on myself till my eyes closed, because I'm far from perfect.
Good for you. Good for you. Amen, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So I want to ask you a little bit, because you know you took the chance in writing your book, and I want to put it up here for those people who might want to get a copy of it. I want to put this book up real quick, you guys, so you can see it. I'm gonna pull it up, and you guys feel free. You can tell them a little bit about where this book is at.
Okay. You can find it on my website, www.arthurtaiwanhenderson.com, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, Google Books, and the last one is, hold on, make sure I got them all. Hold on. Books a Million, Amazon, and that's it. That's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Go girl. Go girl.
Oh, and Target. I forgot Target. In Target.
So a testimony of faith, the Anointed One. I do want to ask you a little bit about your process for writing, because I know there's a lot of people out there who have been dreaming, who have been desiring to write their own book. Like if you had to sum up and give like a couple of steps to your process, like maybe 1, 2, 3, boom.
Okay.
Help the audience with that. Like, so I know you got the revelation. I know that was one. You got the revelation. You was like, okay, God, I hear you talking. Blah, blah, blah. Was there a process, or did you just, as you said earlier, you just got your pen and start writing? Did you have a process, like you, example, like if you took the book, you start writing, and you said, I'm going to spend, 2 days a week or 3 days a week and write, or I'm just going to write this thing all right now in 2 days. Some people go just all out, or if I'm going to plan and schedule out my writing. What was your process? Because I want people to know, because sometimes people they hold off on doing what they're supposed to do because they put a timeline on it, some kind of if they don't have the finances for it, it holds them up and pursuing their dream. I see that a lot. And myself, I always wanted it to be perfect. Oh, it has to be the brand, the coloring, and all of this has to be all this. And I spent so much energy there that I lost sight of what I was supposed to be doing. And so I really want to share a little bit, because I think it's very important for people. Go with God. When God gives you something, you just got to go with it, because otherwise you're not allowing yourself to live in your best, live in
exactly.
You're stopping what your calling is. And I felt like I've done that so many times, and I'm finally at a place in my life where I'm like, no more.
I know that's right.
So if you have just a few pointers, some steps you can give people, I would really be grateful.
Okay, first off, I would clear my mind. I would cut off everything around me, go into a room where it's quiet. And first I would pray, ask God for guidance, ask him to talk through me to the people. And so what I do is I concentrate. You got to clear your mind of all clutter, as you're going to be, all over the place. So basically clear my mind. And then I wrote for like a week straight, and then I would take 2 days off. Then I would go. I did it like it was a job. Basically, I would clock in at a certain time, and then at a certain time I would clock out. Like basically, when it was time for husband to come home and the kids, and I got to cook and all that stuff. All right, time to shut down. Let me go into wife and mom mode. So basically, it was when I had free time, I poured into that, like I would a job.
Nice. So you you schedule something for yourself. I love how you said, hey, I cleared my mind so that I could be prepared for what was next. And then I love how you said you prayed.
Yeah.
So often
every time
we're doing all these different things, and our download that creative stuff, God giving us that stuff. So it will make sense to pray.
Yes. I wouldn't even type until I talk to God. Before I type one word, me and God talk first. It was like I go into the room and get quiet. I would pray, talk to God, and then I would start typing. That was my schedule. That's how I started off. I would not type without talking to God first with anything. He guided me through this whole process. I didn't want to make any decisions without him. When it came to the book, when it came to choosing the publishing company, everything I did was with God. I didn't make any decision. I was, even when it was coming down to making a decision, okay, Lord, is this the one? And I'm telling you, someone said, go check out the reviews, go check out this. And I'm like, okay, Lord, that ain't it. So, he guided me the whole way, like no joke, the whole process. I relied on him and he led the way.
I love it. Love it. I love that process. You guys hear that? Hear that? You look like go all the way with God. Let him guide you. I want to read some of these comments for you, girl. Some things that people are saying on here. Let's see. Awesome. Woohoo. Hi, Taiwan. Someone gave you this specific shout out. And someone said, that is a beautiful story. Thanks for sharing how God orchestrated this whole project. Someone said, ooh, you better speak, Taiwan. That was a lie. He said, so when you were talking about had that you changed it up for them, it would have been a lie. Someone listen and follow. Someone put this wonderful picture, how you relied on your great God to guide you through this process. Complete reliance, such a great testimony. Don't put a Band-Aid on an
oh, so they listening.
It would bleed. Wow. Pressure, bust pipes. That was a very good analogy of how so many of us keep things inside, leading us to problems in the future. Someone put, thanks for being so vulnerable. And that was amazing. Amen. Just share God's news and God does the work. The word never goes out and return void. Awesome. Wow. Truth, the testimony of faith. And also, I think my husband, thank you, John, for putting your handle inside the chat.
Thanks, John.
That target as well. And then someone put, in all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your steps. So I understand when you say that God guided you every step of the way. Nice.
Wow. Okay.
Comments. I appreciate that. Very, very.
Thank you, guys.
I want to just segue into this one. I feel like you've given us so much to think about and such great nuggets you've dropped. What are your goals for this book? I mean, what do you hope to accomplish with it?
Okay. So I hope to set out for the people that gets the book that, you know, if they're hurting, to turn to God, you know, and for the people that don't believe in God, get my book. You'll see that he's real, you know, and that he'll never leave you or forsake you.
I like that. Oh, that's a nice button. He'll never leave you and forsake you. Truth, honey, truth.
Yes, it is. I'm a living testimony.
Are there any other, your next steps? Do you have any plans, maybe speaking, or I mean, what are your next steps after you've written?
Well, a lot of people have been asking me for book number 2. So now I'm getting ready to start on book number 2, Overcoming Obstacles. And I have been working on this hair growth oil that I'm trying to take out. So I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place, but you know, I had got so much good feedback, great feedback on the testimony of faith. I'm signing books. I'm like, whoa, I'm signing books. So I'm giving the people what they asking for. I'm coming with book number 2. Shoot, they asking for it. I said I'm gonna keep them coming like them rappers be putting out the mixtapes. Y'all ask for it, I'm gonna give it to you.
I love it. That's cool. That's very exciting. I'm super excited for you. Book number 2. Woo. So
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, wow, because I saw a little bit in your copy. I mean, that you got several chapters, and what I want to commend you on is I love how you're walking people through your whole life story. Like it's almost I love how the titles for each chapter, you know, you got overcoming, you got taking back my power, you got different things in there, just like you're just walking people through things, you know. And so I think it's almost it's a really good template the way it's set up.
Thank you.
It's a great template because you got so many different topics in there that you don't miss any one. I think everybody could relate to at least one of those topics. So,
and that's what I was hoping for. You know, I was really hoping for that. I just feel like with so much going on in the world, you know, I just want people to feel like, man, you are not alone. Trust me, everybody's going through something. And if it's something that I can help heal, you know, I'm all for it because I know what it feels to be hurting, you know, and I just want people to know that, man, if you have God in your life, you will be okay. Yeah, it may seem hard, it may seem rough, but God didn't say it was easy, but he did say he would get you through it, you know. And sometimes when I feel like I'm overwhelmed or, man, this is too much, I think about Jesus, you know. Jesus died on the cross and he didn't even do nothing, you know. He died for our sins and he wasn't even guilty. So if Jesus had to bear the cross, suck it up, girl. You'll be all right. And that's how I look at it, you know. We all got our cross to bear.
Yeah, we do. We all do. Yeah, it is life. Like you said, life. There's so much going on in the world, and your book really kind of it shapes so many different events. There's so many.
That was my plan.
We all are experiencing different things in our life, and I want to just encourage our listeners out there, the people that are watching, that, you know, you may be going through some. You might want to get this book, like Taiwan.
Yes, get the book.
There's a lot in there, girl. You got a lot of juicy stuff in there. And I think our stories, one of the things I love about life is that our stories are always used and they go beyond us.
Yeah.
We will allow people into our lives that way. And how you've written this book, you have allowed people in your life in this way. And I think that's the first step for all of us to grow and to continue to grow. Because if nobody knows who we really are, we're not living authentically in who we are.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how I want to come to the table. I want to be transparent whether you accept me or not. It's not about what you accept, it's about how I show up. And so I appreciate you showing up in this book.
Thank you.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting to know more about my cousin.
Because I'm very private. I'm a very private person. If I don't tell nobody, if I don't tell anybody about my business, because one, I don't want to be judged. Two, I don't want people gossiping about me. So shoot, like I said, some of that stuff I would have took to my grave. I wouldn't have never told anyone. But you know, God wanted me to be transparent, and he told me he got my back, and don't worry about what people think or what they saying. Shoot, I just let it roll off my back. You know, I can't please everybody. Somebody's going to always have something to say. So I can't worry about the negative. I just worry about the positive. So long as people getting positive things out of it, I did my job.
You sure did, honey. You showed me that part. As you were talking, I was like, they talked about Jesus.
I know, right?
Better believe they're going to talk about us.
Exactly. So
the greatest man on the planet that walked the earth, they talked about. So we're definitely going to get that. But thank you so much for all of this. Oh wow, I could go on and on. But I know we're pretty much at our time. But I do want to ask you if you would be so kind just to leave your handles if people want to find you, like they want to follow you. You guys, you follow her on this journey, y'all, because we all know as women, it's hard to put our story out there. It's hard to put who we really are out there, and it's specifically, just like you said, Taiwan, from judgment. But we need to be okay to just go for where God is leading us and not even care about the judgment or the misunderstandings of who we are. We know who we are at the end of the day. We know
exactly.
So that part. Can you go ahead and tell people where they can find you, and also just list the book off again where they can get it on Amazon? But go ahead and tell them.
No problem. You can find me at my website, www.arthurtaiwanhenderson.com, my Facebook, Taiwan Henderson, my Instagram, Taiwan Henderson, and my TikTok, Taiwan Henderson. You can find my book at Taiwan Henderson, AuthorTaiwanHenderson.com. You can find it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Google Books, and last but not least, Target.
Right on. Thank you, cousin. Y'all,
thank you.
Taiwan Henderson, put some chats and some hearts in the chat right now for me.
Bye.
Thank you so much. And you know what? You have inspired me today. Get on it and write my book.
Go for it. You got a story to tell.
Got a story to tell. I think we all got a story to tell, y'all.
Yeah.
Some of us tell it different. Some of us are going to tell it on the theater, on the stage. Some of us are going to tell it in our book. Some of us are going to tell it when we speak of public speaking. We all got a story to tell. And I want to remind you all out there, each and every one of you have a beautiful story to tell, whether you may think it is or not, because what God makes, he always makes it beautiful.
Amen.
But then at the end of the day, thank you, cousin.
Thank you. Bye.
Out there, bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Because y'all can. Peace out.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, cousin.